The dream of creating the world's largest free trade zone will take center stage this weekend at the 35th Asean Summit in Bangkok. On the eve of the meeting, economic and trade ministers have held talks to try to reach a landmark trade deal between the regional bloc and the 6 partner countries.
The Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership would cover a third of the world's economies. May Wong is covering the story and she joins us now. So May, what's the latest word on RCEP out of this ministerial meeting?
No word. That's the problem. I understand that the meeting has been severely delayed. I mean, we're talking about the fact that the ministers were supposed to have an opening remarks given to the media hours ago, and yet at this stage, we have still not heard anything and have not even seen any of the ministers at this stage. So it only begs the question, is it because the ministers, all 16 of them, cannot agree on the finer points in sealing this deal, or the fact that some ministers perhaps could have thrown up new demands on their end? So this is really extremely worrying for some of the nations, particularly because the negotiations have been going on for 7 years. Many of the countries want to lock in this deal and allow the leaders coming in over the weekend to declare the fact that they will be able to sign this RCEP agreement. But at this point, we really can't tell whether or not we can indeed be able to achieve that. A major peeve and a major hurdle everyone is pointing to: India. They seem to be holding off on this because they have said repeatedly they will not be hurried into signing a deal that will not be beneficial for them as well. A major component is the fact that India is wanting and asking for its human resources, its labor force, particularly in the services sector, to be able to roam around freely in all the 15 other RCEP nations. However, that is causing concern to the labor force of the respective nations. On the flip side as well, India is also concerned that their agricultural products as well as their agricultural farming sectors will be hit tremendously because of the low levies, or rather no levies going forward under RCEP, and a lot of the China cheap goods as well as quality dairy products coming in from the likes of Australia and New Zealand will really cripple the Indian domestic market. And so there are a lot of these sticking points that are still up in the air and needs to be ironed out and ironed out quickly. However, a lot of people are really holding out hope on this particular RCEP agreement, given the fact that we have problems in terms of protectionism coming out from various countries. We also have increasing tensions in the trading arena, for example, between US and China, and more importantly as well, given this slow economic performance of the global market today, a lot needs to be done in order to try and prop up the world economy.
Okay, well, while we wait for any news from the RCEP outcome, tell us, May, what else is up for discussion and on the agenda for this weekend summit?
Aside from the economy, well, 3 other issues will likely be on the forefront. One of them, South China Sea, namely because things are growing in terms of the tensions are rising in the waters in that particular region, given the fact that we are seeing US Navy ships in those areas, as well as the fact that Chinese vessels have encroached into what they call Vietnam's exclusive economic zone, and that is really causing worry, particularly by the Vietnamese, and also they're challenging that. Well, we all know that China almost claims the entire part of South China Sea, while there are other 6 nations who are actually arguing with them on that and say that that is absolutely not true. So the disputes have been going on for a really long time right now, and nothing seems to be able to be resolved, but countries are still going at it. And next year, when when Vietnam takes over as ASEAN chair, that topic will really come up in the forefront in terms of a priority issue. Yet another issue that will likely feature in the discussions for the leaders will be that of the Rakhine Rohingya crisis. More than 2 years right now, and you still have more than 700,000 Rohingya refugees stuck in Bangladesh, and that is causing not just concern with the humanitarian aspects of it, but also the fact that you could potentially be breeding or encouraging future terrorism activities to occur. So that is yet another subject. And yet the third subject, of course, is we're talking about national security, or rather international global security, when we see North Korea recently just launching again projectiles or missiles into the Sea of Japan. So that is causing a lot of anxiety, particularly when it comes to global security. So all of these issues will need to be discussed, will need to be elevated when the leaders come to Bangkok to have their discussions and also to try to resolve some of these outstanding problems.
All right, May, thanks for that. May Wong speaking to us from Bangkok, where the 35th ASEAN Summit is taking place.